Hi everybody, what a nice and bright Saturday morning. Well, silly me, I thought yesterday was Saturday, but of course it was Friday. So that means the Arts Festival is actually finishing tonight and not yesterday. Tomorrow it will be very, very quiet. Just all the vendors, the amusement park, etc., packing up and moving out, and for 2 days the municipal workers will be cleaning up, opening roads and so forth. I spoke to some of the vendors yesterday and they said it had been very, very quiet this year. They had quiet years before, but this year was actually exceptional according to them. Yes, the world's economy has not improved, has it? And neither has there been any improvement here in South Africa. As I was driving home yesterday, I was also looking around me, and it is safe to say that Oudtshoorn is not exactly a pretty town, yet it has many interesting attractions like the ostrich farms, the Kango caves, and its old buildings, to name but a few. However, the town as such is not pretty. Having said that, it is sad and maddening that people in charge are not capable or willing or able to manage what they have and make the most of it. Everywhere you go or drive, roads and pavements are falling apart. Some roads in residential areas are so bad that you can't avoid the potholes. So had I not lived here and I had to consider whether I was going to drive a fair distance, spend money for accommodation, entry fee, food, and then have to risk losing a tire or damaging my car's suspension, I think I may have chosen to stay home. Recently, there were protests against the rising municipal costs, which is indeed really, really high. And it's not surprising that people were protesting it, considering that one cannot see where the money is going to. Yes, officials and workers' salaries are increasing annually, while streets and other things are falling apart and declining. Imagine how much nicer and welcoming it would have been had the roads been nicely tarred, pavements clean, and a pleasure to walk on. Okay, so this is all true, but it's also the perfect introduction to today's video. Over the last few weeks, I have been searching foreign media, and when I say foreign media, I mean foreign to Britain and not South Africa, okay? But I've been searching for comments and commentary on the royal family. And although Catherine's announcement of her illness had obviously been dominating the headlines for a few days, it had been a mixed bag of positive, boring, and not so positive commentary. And I can 100% relate, because for a change, the media reflects how I feel. Just like we in places here in South Africa are becoming more and more frustrated with the lack of true, decent leadership, people who are truly working for the greater good, so are the people becoming more and more frustrated with leaders the world over, including the current leadership of the monarchy, namely the King, King Charles. Yet, for fear of being hated for criticizing a sick man, everyone, including mainstream media, are adopting a form of light criticism or adding a but to every criticism. I mean, in the light of, but he lost both his parents in 2 years, became king, and was then diagnosed with cancer. Now, my dear friends, I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, but I take after my father, who was from Scottish descent. who was indeed a good man, okay? Always prepared to help the underdog, very sympathetic, but also very straightforward and with no buts or angles at all. He would be someone who is likely to say something like, boy, either you do the job, or if you can't, you need to leave so someone else can give it a try. And frankly, my dears, I'm sorry that Charles has cancer, but that is indeed how I feel about him at the moment. Obviously, my first gripe about King Charles continues to be his lack of decisive action where Harry and Meghan are concerned. Yes, there has been the odd movement which had been nothing more than gaslighting. Harry is still Councillor of State, still in the line of succession, still holds all his titles, etc., etc. Now, I've given you my hypothesis as to why Charles is indeed refusing to divorce Harry from the monarchy. And although I often doubt myself and my opinions and hypotheses, what I have read over the last few weeks have indeed strengthened my opinion and beliefs. I'm going to read to you, yet again, a few sentences from a publication. But the first time I'm going to read it, I'm going to redact names, dates, accounts, amounts, etc. Okay. In XYZ year, X's personal income increased by 33% in 1 year, yet the foundation had given only £1 million to charities in America. That left £3.8 million in the foundation's bank account. Now again, no one could explain why the prince had not distributed more. Now, who do you think was talked about here, Charles or Harry? Now remember this, talking about the Archewell Foundation, I quote from CBS News, an article dated the 12th of December 2023. The organization's executive director, James Holt, earned a salary of $227,405, including a $20,000 bonus in 2022. That represents a 280% increase from his salary of less than $60,000 in 2021. The foundation still holds $8.3 million in assets and cash. Yes, no one can explain why they had not distributed more. So, now let me quickly reread the first passage with names, amounts, and dates. In 2004, Higdon's personal income increased by 33% in 1 year to £310,000, which consisted out of £194,000 in salary, £106,000 in bonuses, and £10,600 in benefits. Yet the foundation had given only $1 million to charities in America. That left $3.8 million in the American Foundation's bank account. No one could explain why Charles had not distributed more. Again, the similarities are uncanny, almost as if Charles himself is telling or guiding Harry and Meghan into what to do. Likely or unlikely is not up for debate today. It's not the subject of discussion today. But after collecting as much information as I could, it is very, very clear that Charles has always, his entire life, been working towards involving Americans in his charities, woeing the American rich, and selling access to himself and his circle to the American elite. Speaking on purely a speculatory and academic level to a contact a while ago, we discussed the possibility that 1, the divide between Charles and Harry could be faked, 2, that the divide could be born out of jealousy because Harry actually did move and to an extent broke into the hoi polloi of America, or 3, that the divide is caused by bruised egos, or number 4, all 3. Some very interesting questions, don't you think? Now, I'm currently delving into relationships Charles had with various Americans and drawing links to where these families are in terms of Harry. And I found some very surprising links and some very strange anomalies. I've been at this now for a couple of weeks, and although I see what I see, I still can either not make sense of what I see, or I'm just too flabbergasted to believe my own eyes. Although this has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan, I have also been studying Charles's preference and links to Saudi Arabia, and I cannot as yet express in words how I feel, as I have not ordered my thoughts yet. But there are days when I feel despair and deep sadness for both my country of birth, South Africa, and my country of blood, England. Okay, now moving away from this for a while, we'll talk about this and the politics behind it, the money, power, and the puppet masters at a much later time or over on another platform. Perhaps as it is maybe a little too rich or too risky for YouTube. I will think about it and decide later. Now, I quickly want to talk about the King's recorded speech at the Maundy service and his attendance of the Easter Sunday service. Okay, I thought I had it down pat and understood everything there is to understand. I fully understood why the King had to step back from public duties. It would likely be a disaster if he was to contract, say, COVID or any other virus now, and it would likely interfere with his treatment as well. But now please explain the following to me. On the 21st of February, the King held an audience with the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at Buckingham Palace. On the 6th of March, the King received ambassadors from Algeria and Mauritania at Buckingham Palace. On the 7th, he received Mr. Alexander Williams as High Commissioner for Jamaica. On the 13th, the King received the Baroness Scotland of Asthall. On the 19th of March, the King received veterans of the Korean War at Buckingham Palace. On the 22nd, the King held audiences at Buckingham Palace for incoming High Commissioners from Tanzania and Singapore. 4 days ago, King Charles was entertaining alumni of the Windsor Leadership Trust at Buckingham Palace. A couple of days ago, he received the Secretary General of the Climate Vulnerable Forum. And 2 days ago, he also received the new ambassadors from Moldova and Burundi. Yet, he was too afraid to attend the Maundy service, and it is said that tomorrow he will sit separately from the rest of the family to keep himself safe from germs or then viruses. Now, I'm sorry, guys, I don't get it. So these ambassadors and high commissioners and veterans, etc., are all immune to illness, so immune that the King can physically touch them and shake hands. Yet he can't attend a church service where him and Camilla could indeed have sat a little apart from the congregation, or tomorrow he will even be segregated from his family? I don't get it. Not for a single second do I think the king does not have cancer. I am not that much of a nut to think that anyone would lie or fake cancer. I mean, seriously not. But what I am suspecting is that the dear king is a bit of a drama queen, trying to emulate his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, who will forget that picture of her sitting alone during Prince Philip's funeral and the outpouring of love and empathy for her after? Anyway, guys, I'm off. I will have to ask Dragon Man to make me some more AI pictures this weekend, as he will be going back to school next Wednesday. Anyway, I wish you all a fantastic Easter weekend, or what is left of it, and please take care of each other and yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.